So am I the only one who didn't realize the word spell is called spell because every time you're speaking, you're casting spells? I mean, the first time I heard that, my mind literally exploded because it all makes sense. I understand the power of effective communication, how it can open up doors for you. It can make people do things for you. It can make people hate you. And speaking effectively can also make people fall in love with you. So here are 4 everyday phrases that you're using right now that are absolutely destroying your charisma. And here's 4 phrases to replace them with instead so you stop sounding low value. So take a piece of paper, take some notes, and I promise you, stick to the end of this video, you'll know how to transform your conversation and cast spells with your words. Let's get right into it. First is stop using the phrase, no problem. I mean, I almost cringe because I hear this phrase so often. It's so ingrained in American culture to say no problem for everything. Whether it's your boss telling you to do extra work, no problem. Your parents telling you to do some errands, no problem. Even if it's you picking up the check at dinner with your friends, oh, don't worry, I got this, no problem. And it's so frustrating because not only it's a missed opportunity, you don't realize saying the words no problem is actually harming your relationship. By saying no problem, you're signaling to the other person that you don't value the relationship because it was easy for you to do this in the first place. If someone's asking for a favor, it takes time, energy, effort, money for you to do. But by saying, oh, no problem, it sounds like you were in the area or you had it anyways, or it was so easy that you don't even care. Yeah, sure, no problem, I'll get it done. Instead, what I want you to do is build value around the relationship by saying, sure, I would love to. I'm happy to help. By saying happy to help, you're indicating that you do care about this person. You respect them, you care for them. And the things you're already doing anyway, instead of putting yourself down by saying no problem, you're just highlighting them in a very proper way by saying, sure, I'd love to, I'm happy to help. Now let's make this a concrete example to show you can build more value around your relationship. Let's say a friend calls you tonight and is like, hey bud, can you pick up some beer for tonight's party? Instead of saying no problem, which you normally would, say, sure, I'd love to, happy to help and bring some beer. By saying something just that different and over again throughout your relationship, saying happy to help, it starts creating a focus and a shift in direction that says, oh, it's not saying that this is not a problem for this guy, it's easy for him to bring beer. He's actually going out of his way to pick up beer, which will help him, which is something, once again, you're doing anyway, but instead of putting yourself down, you're picking yourself back up. Number 2 is never say, sorry, I'm late. Now, before you get riled up, I want to put out there that yes, I agree, there's a time and place to apologize, and apologizing is absolutely necessary in many situations. But I feel as a generation, we apologize way too much, and we say sorry all the time without even realizing the implications and what it really means. A much stronger phrase that I use instead is thanks for your patience. And there's 2 reasons why. One is promoting positivity. It takes this negative situation you're in, the fact that you're late, and uses it as an opportunity to express appreciation. So it's leaving a lasting positive impression. And number 2 is it shows respect, because rather than just once again focusing on your delay, expressing gratitude for the other person's patience highlights the fact that you respect their time, and it also acknowledges inconvenience. So it's a double whammy. The 3rd phrase is to never, ever say, does that make sense? At the end of their sentence. And it's so annoying. Every single time I hear someone speak for an hour and then they say, does that make sense? It immediately strikes me as they're a low value person. They're not confident in themselves. And once again, it's not judging them. It's they haven't been taught this stuff. It's just so ingrained in their normal everyday speak that until someone holds a mirror up to them, like how I am right now, they don't even recognize it's a problem. The second you catch yourself saying, does that make sense? At the end of anything you're saying, it immediately signals to the other person that you're not a confident person because you don't even understand what you're saying. Because high value people wouldn't say something in the first place if it doesn't make sense. High value people are confident. They communicate effectively. They don't say things just for the fact of saying them and then asking if it makes sense or not, because they wouldn't say it in the first place. A much stronger phrase instead of does that make sense is to say, what are your thoughts? If you really are curious about what the other person's thinking when you're finished talking, because this actually promotes a collaborative interaction between 2 people. It asks them for their input, and it's not once again saying that does this make sense, because obviously it should make sense if you're a high value and confident and effective communicator. You're instead asking for their thoughts on their idea, which is probably what you meant in the first place if you're saying that. Unless you're saying it's just a habitual phrase, then of course you should cut that out in the beginning. But what are your thoughts also makes it look like you're an intellectual. You're someone who likes to have open discussions and you're open to other people's ways of thinking. And it's a way better dialogue to strike more interesting conversations from what you just said. The 4th phrase, which makes you sound low value, is less of a phrase but more of a category of words. But never ever use filler words, which are like, and, but just, the list goes on. But everyone has their personal filler words which they use when they don't know what to say, or when they're trying to fill the gap between sentences, or they're kind of nervous and they just want to fill the space between a conversation. And it's an immediate silent killer. And trust me, I get it. This is a tough one. I myself struggle with this too, and I still catch myself using filler words all the time. And the reason is because we're not taught, once again in school, what is a filler word and how to remove it from our vocabulary. Instead, it's mainly encouraged because a lot of it's used in slang. So what I want you to do is notice and clock every single time you use a filler word, and try to really recognize why you're using it. Is it because you're nervous? Is it because you are scared that the conversation is becoming a lull? Is it because you just don't know how to answer to a question immediately? Instead of taking a few seconds to think about it, you're like, yeah, so just because. You see where I'm going with this? Figure out what is your trigger and why you're using it, because the stronger alternative to a filler word is to say nothing at all. That's right, just dead silence. High value people don't use filler words because they don't care about what other people are thinking about them. They use time. They're not scared of silence. They use time to think, to speak concisely, clearly, and communicate effectively. And it's okay, once again, to take that few seconds to think about what you need to say and how you're gonna say it. That is totally normal. If anything, silence demands respect, and it makes people listen and come closer to what you're about to say, because it's such a powerful tactic. And you'll hear people in speeches all the time use silence statistically more when they're trying to be strategic about commanding respect. So find filler words for yourself, cross my vocabulary, and constantly try to remove them and notice when you use them and why you're using them. It's such a powerful tactic, which will immediately make you much higher value than all your peers. And yeah, that's it. It's really the small changes that make a big difference. And I want you to start using these empowering phrases today. There's no point in watching this video and not taking action on it. Instead, use it today and start noticing the big transformation that happens in everyday interactions and your other relationships. And start working towards being that high value person you know you can be. If you're new here and you made it this far, my name is Sid Chavla and I drop videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then thank you so much for making it this far. My goal is to provide as much value as I possibly can, put my time, energy, and effort into make these videos as high quality and productive for you, so you're not wasting a single second watching them. And it would mean the world to me if you hit that subscribe button down below and give me a thumbs up letting me know, Sid, we appreciate you and thank you so much, because any little thing helps YouTube algorithm. So even just comment below, whatever you want. I don't even care if it's hate comments, troll comments, feedback, suggestions, video ideas for next topics, just anything you want to say, just let me know in the comments, because every small thing helps. I'm a new YouTuber. It's really tough to grow in this space, and I have a goal of hitting 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So thank you guys so much for following along, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.